with the boys this time. We got
Boys are
three
back in
boys. Three boys for the price of one. We got to start charging our viewers extra for all these boys that we're bringing.
On a per boy basis.
Yeah.
Start charging on a per boy basis.
Many boys.
We got boys on boys on boys. So, yeah, we're back with the boys, and we're just gonna kind of shoot the shit. Kind of loose format this time. We're getting a little loosey
We've
goosey.
been really strict formatted in the past.
Yeah,
So
I mean, dude, you know us.
release-
We have a prompt and a script, and we stick to it. We stick to it like
We're tight normally.
like
Not today.
gum.
Today we're loose.
I'm so loose right now. I've been loose watching this fucking Thursday night football game. Does anyone care? First of all, let's just get that out of the way. Do we care about these teams?
These are storied NFL franchises that are becoming laughingstocks in front of our eyes.
Yeah, they are
It's
storied,
so tough to
dude.
watch.
It's really tough to watch. I don't. What is
Mike
going
Tomlin.
on?
Mike Tomlin's getting blown out 30-0 right now.
No, they
Yeah.
scored.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh. Who is it?
Big Ben throws a TD to.
Johnson. Brutal. I've got
Najee
Claypool.
Harris.
having himself a
Oh.
great year.
Najee got the TD, baby. Wow. Big Ben only has
Oh, yeah.
111 passing yards.
He's looking big.
Dude,
Big and swole.
Kirk Cousins, they're killing the Steelers, and Kirk Cousins is 11 of 24 with 125 yards. And they put up 29 points in 3 quarters.
No
And
run.
he had it.
Dude,
He had a
Dalvin Cook.
huge-
Holy shit. Dalvin Cook's
Yeah.
popping off.
And that's coming off of a dislocated arm or dislocated shoulder.
Hey, we're supposed to play this week.
Yeah, not at all. And
Oh.
Kirk Cousins missed Justin Jefferson in the second quarter, like overthrew him, and he was wide open. It would have been a touchdown. So yeah, they're not playing up to like their potential, and they're just smoking Steelers.
Dude, 203 rushing yards. That would do it.
Yeah, you know what? You know what you can't do when you have a 47-year-old quarterback is let him get blindside sacked like 4 times in the first half of a game.
Dude,
So
5.
many times.
Dude, yeah, 5 sacks allowed.
That's tough. That's tough. And some of those were hard hits. Just like
Yeah, they
no
really-
block, blew through the line. It just took him out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's fragile, Ben, these days. So you really can't have that and still win a game.
Yeah, the
They
thing
don't
though
call
is
Big
he's
Ben for nothing.
he's still big. It's just like it's like the innards of him are, might be a little broken. Especially after this fucking
Outards
game.
too, potentially.
Who? You talking about?
Outards. Innards and
Outers.
outards.
No, we don't talk about the outers on this podcast. This is strictly the innards, okay? We get down to the nitty-gritty.
When I streamed Chase Claypool this week with my fantasy team, thinking he'd get a couple of deep looks on the Minnesota secondary, and he's got like 3 receptions for 17 yards in a standard non-PPR league. It's just not looking good for me.
Yeah,
on
which
that
for
front.
those who don't play fantasy football is
Yeah, explain that.
what we call bad.
Bad, big time bad.
It's like I like that analysis. It's bad.
That's why you come here.
It's bad.
Crunch the numbers on that one.
Yeah, wait, let me hack into the data frame real quick. Yep, that's bad. Yes. Also, speaking of bad, we should probably quickly sweep this under the rug. The Lakers lost. They got their win streak broken tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. Their win streak of, let's see, 1 game. They lost. Yeah. It's tough, dude. It's us and the Sun. It's us and the Suns, dude. I feel the Suns' pain now. Have that long journey just to have it end,
If you told me that Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James would get beat with a jawless Grizzlies with Desmond Bain, Steven Adams, and Jaren Jackson, I would be like, what are you talking about? That just shouldn't happen.
Dude,
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson is looking good, though, I do have to say. I watched the game and he was popping off. But, yeah, no, I agree. I don't...
Yeah, Jared Jackson's been good. He's just been injured for most of his young career.
That is
But
true.
he's one of those few big men that, switch on defense, hit open threes, create for themselves in the paint. He's definitely a really high ceiling player.
And Steven Adams was distributing the ball, getting guys open looks all game.
Yeah, a lot of second opportunities because of...
Yeah. Desmond Bain looking real good. Iced it with a big three. Like, a lot of confidence in that shot. He's looking great.
Yeah. And the Lakers did go with an Anthony Davis at center lineup.
They have been. They have been doing that, and thank God they finally took DJ out of the rotation, dude.
Yeah, we know Frank Vogel's a longtime fan of the show. Yeah. Long-time listener.
Yeah, Vogel, if you're listening to this, I had to apologize to Westbrook yesterday for all the shit I've been giving him because he's been showing up. Actually, today he did not. He was 9, 7, and 6 with like a shit ton of turnovers, like classic Westbrook.
But I think Matt, you could probably take credit for that one-game win streak they're on. With your hard-hitting takes on Anthony.
I think I will. I'll take full credit for the one-game win streak. They did put Anthony Davis at center, and it did unlock Westbrook for a while there.
Yeah.
But now Frankie V's got himself a whole new problem to deal with.
Dude, yeah, look at that. The bench was all of them were negative -16, -14 for Wayne Ellington, but.
And again, for those who aren't really familiar with advanced statistics here, that's bad.
Yeah, normally when it comes to these plus-minus things, you want to be on the plus side, not the minus side.
It's just like golf, but the opposite.
Yeah.
Don't tell our listeners what to do, okay? They're free-thinking people. They can be on whatever side of the numbers they want.
True.
Yeah. I mean, dude, god damn it. Their defense is terrible, dude. They could not stop a brick wall from being a brick wall.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane, right?
How does Avery Bradley have the highest plus-minus on your team right now?
He did, because he could play defense. He could fucking... Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy idea, I know, but he's like the one player who's like decent on ball. An on-ball defender, like.
Yeah, that is one thing. I mean, Russell Westbrook's offensive fit in this team is as we've said, questionable. But when you don't have to be the guy, you got to play better defense.
And they shot 40% from the three.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. That's not bad,
dude. Like, it's like fuck. They gave us Steven Adams had 8 offensive boards, though, dude. That will not fucking win you the game. Holy shit. He got more offensive rebounds than he did defensive. That's insane.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's an Anthony Davis issue right there.
And so did you guys see Charles Barkley call out Anthony Davis? Yeah, I played that on the episode yesterday. I agree, dude. Anthony Davis could be Giannis, but he just is like, I'm fine with just being whatever. Like,
boxing out is hard.
Yeah, it's like I might be like almost 7 foot, but like, like it's like a lot of work, Dude, I don't get it. But let's not bore our viewers too much with fucking the Lakers.
Or ourselves.
Yeah, let's bore ourselves. Let's go back to this NFL playoff picture because we're getting down to it. There's only 5 more weeks left, right?
Yeah, and it is an interesting picture at that.
Yeah, for sure.
So here's what we got. We got Patriots, number uno in the AFC. Then you got Titans, Ravens, Chiefs. Oh.
We do have to talk about that Patriots-Bills game.
Yeah, I was about to say. How many passing yards was it? Like 19 or something?
Well, they attempted 3 passes that game and completed 2 of them.
Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, it was really something to watch. I don't know if you've ever seen Bill Belichick smile and laugh before during the regular season, but he was elated after winning this game without passing the ball.
Yeah. Here was my take yesterday. The Patriots could have easily lost this game. And everyone, all the analysts that I've seen are like, Bill Belichick, like, he just was like, I'm going to show up the Bills and say, screw you guys, and I'm just going to run the ball out of just, like, sheer spite, principle. But, and then and people
the
are
wind
like,
was fucking booking.
I agree, but, I mean, Josh Allen threw, I mean, 50%, like, that's not great, but that's also not, like, shitty. And Josh Allen makes one of those passes in the end zone, and the narrative is totally different. Totally.
100%. But like, this is the issue, right? Is the Bills, it wasn't Josh Allen's fault. The Bills were incapable of running the ball on the Patriots. So now you're playing a blizzard game, passing 3 out of 4, like, You're passing more than you're running the ball in the middle of a blizzard because you can't run the ball on the Patriots defense. And the Patriots just said, fine. You want to take deep shots? You want to put the result of this game on deep passes in a blizzard? Knock yourselves out. We're just going to run the ball up the gut on you until you prove you can stop it. And they never could.
Well, true. I mean,
you're absolutely right. But the ball tipped off of, like, Stephon Diggs' fingertips to the corner of the end zone. He makes that catch, and the story is completely different.
It's a blizzard. It's a blizzard.
Yeah. Okay.
30-yard downfield shots in a blizzard.
Matt, we've all been to Dairy Queen, okay? We've seen the blizzards. We know what they're like. And
turned it upside down.
I get that. I get it was a blizzard, and you obviously don't want to pass a ton. I think 30 passes was too much, but 3 passes I think is, like, so risky,
19
dude.
Passing yards.
Yeah.
19 passing yards. That's not even 2 first downs.
I just think Bill Belichick is less trusting of Mac Jones than, like, some of the Patriots fans are. And if I was Mac Jones, I'd just be like, dude, like, what do I need to do? Like, do I need to have a better fucking rookie season for you to, like, give me more than 3 attempts? Like, I don't know. If I was Mac Jones, I'd be like,
Belichick.
I'd be like, fuck
I think
you.
Belichick is just messing. Like he is, like Matt said, he's smiling. He's reveling in the fact that Mac Jones didn't have to pass the ball.
That he set this record.
Yes, exactly.
True.
He loves that thing. He won the
look,
game the way he wanted to.
Running the ball is always the least risky choice. And so you never really pass the ball if you don't have to. I mean, every single game, if any team could get away with just running the ball over and over again and getting first downs and touchdowns, they would. Because it's a way less risky thing to do, whether it's a blizzard or not.
I mean, I get that, but it's not like the run game was perfect. The Patriots only scored 14 points. They only scored 1 scoring touchdown. Like, people are talking like, wow, they couldn't stop the run. It's like, I don't know, like 14 points is pretty good defensive game. If Josh Allen, like,
yeah, but to be fair, that was all running, right? Like, so that means they ran a lot, and they weren't, like, the Bills weren't able to stop them.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not true. That's not true. At the end of the game, they did stop him. Josh Allen had, like, how many times in the red zone did he have? That was because they stopped him on defense and then got the ball back and got it down to the end zone, but they just could not finish. Like,
you're right. They did stop them more than one drive, but the point is, like, if you score 14 points only running, they're not doing a good job at stopping the run game.
Well, that's true, but that I mean, yeah, I guess they could. I mean, the Patriots, like, what did they? They couldn't complete, like, let's see, how many first down they were. Patriots were 2-12 for third down efficiency. Like that, if I'm the defensive coach, I'm like, hell yeah. Like, we fucking did that. Like, Bill Belichick can go fuck himself. Like,
it's just like you get halfway through this game. Yeah, you get halfway through this game, and you're like, oh, they've thrown the ball once or twice. Like, you should be just like gunking up the middle and daring Mac Jones to throw the ball. Like, you know what they're doing at that point. They're not throwing the ball. Make that.
I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that, but the problem is that the defense can't make them because their fucking quarterback won't score points. You have to be ahead. You have to be ahead to force them to do something. And Josh Allen, I agree with some people saying, like, Josh Allen is not that guy. He is such a tumultuous quarterback. He is up and down. People will be like, he has the best arm in football. Like, he's the next quarterback besides Mahomes. And then he'll just, like, play a game where it's like he gets so many chances to show that he's that guy, and he'll just, like, mess it up.
He's been up and down his whole career. There's no doubt about it. I do think I'm one of those guys. I do think he's that guy. I definitely doubted him for years. I've come around on him, and I think he made some pretty impressive passes in this game that not all of which ended up completed.
I mean, the one to Stephon Diggs. The one to Stephon Diggs.
It was a blizzard.
Yeah, but
it was Dairy Queen's chocolate-flavored blizzard.
He shouldn't have to be making those passes. And, like, yes, you get more leverage when you're ahead, but if you know... I mean, you see what they're doing. They weren't employing trickery and making you think they were going to pass the ball. Stop the fucking run and then go from there.
That is true. Dude, I mean, here's the issue, though. Josh Allen has his ups and downs, and yeah, he could have an up, but there's a possibility where they don't make the playoffs. I mean, they're in 7th right now, so that's the cusp.
Well, they have to be a wild card team because they're not gonna beat the Patriots.
Yeah, they're playing the Bucks. They're probably gonna lose that game unless Josh Allen pops off, and then they're gonna lose probably to the Patriots again. I wouldn't be surprised, and they'll probably win these 3 games. And
day after Christmas, that's gonna be a fun game. Rematch that day after Christmas.
Yeah. So they'll probably end up like 10-7, which definitely could make the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know who. Maybe the Dolphins just, like, keep their win streak going to the end of the season. But
I think the Colts. The Colts are the ones that I think really have a chance.
True, the Colts definitely. Let's see what the Colts.
Browns should, but it seems unlikely.
No, Browns just keep browning, man.
They keep browning.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz
not down for the Brown.
Killer. Jonathan Taylor, just unreal. You got Michael Pittman too. Who's
Dude, the Colts,
on and off, but they're
Colts
looking good, man.
Tough schedule though. They have the Patriots. They have a bye week this week. And they have the Patriots, Cards, Raiders, and all 3 of the probably lose to the Patriots, Cards. The Raiders game's like a toss-up, and they'll beat the Jags. Yeah. So they'll probably end up. What's their record now?
You're right.
7-6. They could definitely end up
9-8.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they could just as easily beat the Patriots, and then all of a sudden they're 10-7, and they probably make the playoffs.
Yeah. They've got some critical games coming up, that's for sure.
I mean, yeah. So that's where the Bills, dude. The Bills, I don't know. It's
a top-heavy conference. The AFC is. There's really not a lot of teams you really take seriously below like 5, and even that's Chargers. I don't think they're ready yet. So
Don't
it's really
say
just
that.
what Chiefs, Ravens, Patriots, maybe Bills, Titans if they get Derrick Henry back. But if not, is anybody scared of a Derrick Henry-less Titans?
I'm so scared.
I don't think so.
Uh,
NFC's a better conference.
well, that's so true. Like, yeah, Bengals and Chargers have high ceilings, but they're young. They have young quarterbacks. Like, they're kind of fresh teams. Uh, like those though. If I'm like the Chiefs or the Ravens, like I could see upset alert like coming
Yeah.
if Mahomes or Lamar Jackson like don't have good games. Like I could for sure see the Ravens losing to the Bengals. Like definitely, I think that's more
I've
likely.
bet against the Bengals a couple of times this season and regretted that. Like they're a sneaky team.
Yeah,
with
but there's
some real
also
talent.
I bet you would regret betting on them sometime. It's the
Yeah, I
kind of
like the
team.
Chargers too.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert is one of those guys could show up and just take over a game. He's got excellent weapons. They got a pretty good defense.
Yeah.
They're one of those teams that when they're at their best, they could beat any team out there on a given day.
I just think it'll end up being Patriots Chiefs, and that'll be the game to watch. All these other games could be kind of toss ups.
I agree. I've said it before to you guys. I'll say it here. It is destiny that we have a Patriots Bucks Super Bowl. It's destiny, and you can't fight destiny. It's just
I've
is
fought
coming together
Destiny
here.
before, and she
I'm
don't
pretty
want
sure
none
you
of
lost.
this. She don't want none of this.
I don't know who Destiny is, but I don't
We're in
think
the
that's
last
the best
season
idea.
of a 30 for 30 right now. This is a future 30 for 30,
Right.
and
Yeah.
we're in the very last 15 minutes of
Do
it.
you hear
and
this,
it's gonna be
ESPN?
Patriots Bucks.
ESPN, do you hear this?
Jack versus Brady, 30 for 30.
Disney, the Disney Corporation, can you hear me?
Tom Brady Land is coming to Disney World.
You know
That's
what?
coming right after that.
It'll be like right next to fucking like the new Star Wars land. It'll be like Brady.
Tom Brady Land, and it's just a lot of like avocado milkshakes.
Whoa. And
You're
like they're like
required to
sons
drink a
to
bottle of
kiss.
water
They're like
every hour.
Tom Brady's sons to kiss. You like line up and you give your son a good smackaroo right on the maybe a little bit sneak a little tongue in there. Was that lowbrow? Sorry. My comedy.
Cole, you're a believer in the Cardinals, Cole. Why are you a believer in the Cardinals?
Me? I wish I was. I really want to be. I really think they're honestly the most fun team to watch. Besides the Chargers when they win. But I just like young players don't do well in the playoffs, no matter the sport. And they've never been there. Yeah, I want them to, but I think I'd rather. But if you're asking me, would I rather the Cardinals go to the Super Bowl or would I rather have Patriots versus Bucks? I think I'd go with Patriots versus Bucks. Like,
It's definitely a more fun narrative. I think the Cardinals, like the two questions that linger in my mind about the Cardinals, because I think that they've got a real shot. Does Kyler Murray stay healthy? And can their defense maintain the level of play that they have? If those two things stay, I think that they're a serious contender. And I would, hot take, but I might take them over the Bucks.
Ooh. Interesting.
Wow.
I'll bet you right now that if they see each other in the playoffs, the Bucks win.
yeah, I'd take that action too. I just think Tom Brady wipes the floor with like young quarterbacks, dude. It's just I know how that goes. You don't bet against that, man.
You want that heat, Jeremy?
Dude.
I
Yeah.
do. I don't know. You don't really bet against Tom Brady. It's a good.
Especially
Certainly
a young quarterback. I mean, even with the like veteran quarterbacks, but like I just like, and there's something about Brady being like Brady that just like brings out the best in like the defense in the playoffs. I don't know what it is, but it's just like maybe it was Belichick. But I mean the Bucks just they were so their defense was like went like up like 3 levels and just
can't let down the GOAT.
I guess maybe
if
that's
Tom
what
Brady's
it is.
putting up points and the defense is the reason they lose, man, that's a tough conversation to have in the locker room after that game.
And he doesn't turn the ball over a lot, which helps the defense. He maintains possession. They get time to rest because he's rarely going 3 and out. He's rarely throwing red zone interceptions.
That is true.
I got an interesting sort of storyline for you guys here for Arizona. I don't know if you've been keeping track of the college football coaching changes at all. It's been wild. Some big name schools and big name coaches moving around.
Yeah, I've been seeing the headlines. Yeah,
and these contracts that they're getting are like NBA star money. They're getting like $15-20+ million a year long-term contracts, 10 years kind of thing at some of these big schools. And Oklahoma lost their sort of star coach, so to speak, in Lincoln Riley, who went over to USC.
Yes.
And they were reportedly considering Cliff Kingsbury as a realistic target for their head coaching position, which means that they realistically thought they had at least a shot at attracting the NFL head coach, first place in the NFC on this team.
What?
Which, I mean, they're not idiots, so it's a big school and they were probably willing to throw around some big money. But that means to me that this huge difference in potential prestige might not be as big as it once was for college versus NFL. And the money's not different anymore. In fact, these college coaches are getting more money than most NFL coaches. Dude. Cliff Kingsbury would be making more money at Oklahoma than he probably is with the Cardinals right now.
That just goes to show how fucked up college sports has gotten.
Yeah, that's unreal.
They're like, no, if you're a player, you will not make money. But that is just insane, dude. What the actual?
But we will.
Yeah,
so I got two questions for you here. I mean, the first one is, as players are now starting to get paid, I don't know if you saw this Texas offensive line. Those guys are all going to get like $50,000 a year or something like that.
Yeah, now. I did hear they changed the rules a little bit or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so some, I guess, donors came together for University of Texas and said, okay, offensive linemen are now getting $50,000 a year if you go to Texas.
All right, let's go to Texas, boys.
What about the quarterback?
I don't know, but that's my second question: is NFL contract wise, are head coaches undervalued? I mean, you pay big money. You pay $20+ million for a star wide receiver, $30+ for a franchise quarterback. A head coach is a huge impact to your team. Are they undervalued contract wise?
I think
college is overvalued.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. The same thing. I just think it's just inflated. The college is inflated for the coaches, at least. Like, it's because they don't have to pay the players, so they're like, "Hey, we have like a shit ton of money from like all of these nationally televised games. Come over here, Cliff. Let's get you paid, big buddy."
Would you rather have a star NFL head coach or a star wide receiver?
Well, see, that's a little different because wide receiver, you can have a Super Bowl team without having like amazing wide receivers, and I think that's been proven.
So that's what I'm saying, right? Okay, so pick your non-QB position there. Is a star at that position more important than a star head coach?
No, actually, no. I mean, I'd rather have a good coach. But I look at the Cowboys, and people have been ripping Mike McCarthy because he doesn't know how to like read a clock. They're like, you should. The refs come over to him and is like, you should probably like call a timeout right here because you're gonna lose a lot of time. And he's like, yeah, but like which one's the big hand and the little hand? He's like, I can't. He's like, is it? No, so
the big hand's ours because the the hours are bigger than minutes.
That is
the big hand for the hours.
That's usually how I do it. I mean, I don't know if Mike McCarthy
crazy.
has the same method.
You must.
But I do think though, like, no one sees the Cowboys like going anywhere because of, I mean, multiple reasons. But Mike McCarthy, I think, is one of them. People are just like, dude, that dude, like, is.
I'll ask Matt. I take your point. I think the coach is more important, but who's more replaceable? A high caliber skill player or a coach?
I would go with, I'd rather have the coach. I think when you look at teams that have been good for a really long time, it's because they have a really good coach who's been there for a long time.
I know, and I agree that the coach is more important, and I would pick the coach too, but who's more replaceable? Like I feel like there's probably a larger body of coaches to pull from than there are from elite skill players.
Yeah, but not good coaches.
I don't know.
I'd say there's a lot of
Look
coaches.
Look at the Cowboys. Look at all these teams that they can't find a head coach that they really are comfortable marrying themselves to for a long time.
I mean, look at John Gruden. They married John Gruden. Mark Davis and John Gruden, I'm pretty sure, got married.
I don't think they did.
Legally,
they Dennis Rodman.
What, did they go to North Korea?
No, Dennis Rodman. What was it? Who was it? His Kraus, I think. He posted. Here, look up Dennis Rodman wedding.
Wait, what?
He was the cover of Sports Illustrated, I think, with his head coach, and he was in a wedding dress.
Yeah.
While he was playing.
What?
Yeah.
Dude,
he's looking good.
What a guy. Honestly,
yeah.
Like, low-key, he doesn't look that bad. Like, wait, what?
No, he's looking pretty hot, man.
We need to get this guy into the WNBA right now.
Dwight Howard
the one where he's got his muscles there.
Is what?
Down. The picture in the middle where he's got his guns out, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like, for all our male viewers, I can send you guys this picture for later.
I think that's an action figure.
Oh, hell yeah.
What the actual fuck? Here he is with just a quick
This is the UN ambassador to North Korea.
He has lived many lives. Did you guys ever watch that Eric Andre episode with him on it? And he's just talking nonsense. Like even Eric Andre, who is like this character, and he's like the weirdest dude ever. Even he was like, "What are you talking about, dude? What are you saying right now?" That's when you know you're on another level of weirdness. Is when Eric Andre is like, "What the fuck?"
Have you heard the story about he broke his penis?
No. No.
Dennis Rodman broke his penis. He was he got a running start.
I don't know if you can
and
break
was trying
it.
to jump into his partner, so to speak, and he broke his penis.
All right, let's take a moment of silence for Dennis Rodman's rod. For Dennis Rodman's rod, man.
That, folks, is how we're gonna end this episode.
Yeah. Have a good night, everyone. That's actually a great segue into our main topic. A great segue into our main topic, actually. Now that I think about it.
That brings us to our sponsor of the day.
Yeah, our sponsor is the Habit Burger. Don't injure your rod, man. Dude,
just don't.
We're gonna make money on this. We're gonna start advertising, like, Viagra maybe as a sponsor.
Dick Splint.
We just go with the old Mike the Situation route, where he got paid like a couple $1 million to stop wearing Abercrombie.
What?
Back in the Jersey Shore days.
Was that a thing?
Mike the Situation. That's real. They gave him a couple $1 million to stop wearing Abercrombie in public.
All right.
Like, this guy's a liability.
We need to start eating more Habit Burger then. You hear that? You hear
They can
that?
pay us to not eat it.
Yeah. Like, we need to stop funding this, fueling these kids.
Please, sir, stop with the burgers.
So our main topic, let's get to it. This one's a doozy. Honestly, this is like quite actually the most erratic, dramatic topic change I think we've ever done. We're gonna go from Dennis Rodman's Rod to Enes Kanter Freedom. Let's just give a little bit of an overview here. Enes Kanter, formerly known as Enes Kanter, was drafted, I'm pretty sure, by the Utah Jazz. Let me see. When was that? In 2011. And he really made his name on the OKC Thunder, where he played with Russell Westbrook. And he was like quite the dynamic center. Really good
Very
scorer.
talented post scorer. Yeah. Struggled on defense, didn't have a whole lot of range, and has become a more well-rounded player over time. Has been having a good year and a half or so recently. Started hitting threes, becoming a little less of a liability on defense.
Wow. It must be the name change then.
Yeah. It's been a bit more meta world peace in his public appearances and statements as well.
His Twitter, for everyone who's on, all our fans on Twitter, please check out his Twitter. The hottest of takes. Some good. I mean, it's tough because I agree with what he says about China. There's a lot wrong with what they're doing to like religious minorities, and there's been evidence of like re-education camps. And anytime you hear camps not referencing children, you usually are like, that's not good.
It's really good.
Yeah. So, and you know, he's become quite the activist. He's legendary.
Changed his name to Freedom in case we skipped over that.
Yeah. This is a long journey.
He just became a U.S. citizen.
Yes.
Which he's effectively been like being protected by the United States from his country of origin being Turkey for the last 7 or 8 years, where he's effectively a political fugitive, where he was outspoken against their authoritarian government. And that's a country where...
Jeremy, I want you to try to pronounce this name for all our viewers, please.
You can't even see it. My stream is...
I don't yet. But yes. No, sorry. Go on.
Erdogan.
And Erdogan. Where so he like is a fugitive because he was outspoken against their authoritarian government, which he can't do there. And has taken shelter in the United States. And like he like won't leave the country for his own safety. There's been times where he's been playing on a team that goes to play a game in another country and he doesn't go. Which is like, that's an awful, he's disconnected from his family now. They're still in Turkey. He hasn't talked to his dad in like, I don't know, 7 years or whatever. And his dad had to like make a formal statement to the government in Turkey that he's like sorry he had this son.
It says here on Wikipedia, which everyone knows is very reliable, that his dad was arrested for charged as a member of a terrorist group in 2018. It says Enes Kanter believes his father was targeted because of him. So terrible.
So to put it in context, he's coming from like a really rough history, and so now he's finally become a U.S. citizen, and to as a symbol of his appreciation for what the United States has done for him and his appreciation for what the United States stands for, in becoming a citizen, he changed his last name to Freedom. And so now he is no longer Enes Kanter. He is Enes Kanter Freedom.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's shown he definitely is very appreciative of the U.S. He in the Atlantic he came out with this article talking about his journey, coming to the U.S. and kind of finding, finding freedom, but also just protection, honestly, and that can be taken for granted in the U.S. I think that's kind of spurned this activism that we've seen, like on Twitter, especially, and especially outspoken about other players than the Nets owner, Nike chairman Phil Knight. For
LeBron, due to his association with Nike.
Yeah, and LeBron. Yeah, association with China, and the money that LeBron gets from kind of making different advertisements, shoes, all that stuff, but okay, so here's the kicker: is Enes Kanter is really making his rounds on Fox News.
Yeah.
I just typed in
on
Enes.
All news networks, frankly.
Yeah, a lot of news networks, a lot of Fox News, and I get it. I get it. He's freedom, and that is the mantra for, conservatism in the U.S., freedom for everything, except abortions and other stuff. And so a part of it is I wonder, is he setting himself up for his post NBA career? Partially. And two, I just think, like, him criticizing a lot of these NBA players who, I'm not comparing any traumatic backstory of anyone, but like LeBron didn't have the cushy life that I feel like Enes Kanter thinks he did. Like, LeBron grew up in Akron, Ohio, very, not of means, and didn't have a dad growing up. And there's a lot of these players who, this is the first time they're making generational wealth, and I like that Enes Kanter is coming out and bringing these issues to light. I don't know if the players are the ones to be criticized. There are bigger powers at work here than LeBron James.
But I do also, I think it would be fine to say, hey, LeBron, you call yourself an activist. It's a little hypocritical, when Nike is, partnering with these, really awful labor condition factories in China. Maybe you should do something about it.
Yeah.
But he's just, all over social media, dragging LeBron like crazy. And then when they, walk past each other in person, he doesn't say a word to him. And it's just,
Yeah.
And there seems to be, especially on, the interviews he did on Fox, there's this notion, it seems like he's coming from a place of, you guys don't know how good you have it. He's talking to Tucker Carlson on Fox, who's been, wildly outspoken against, immigrants, which Enes Kanter is one, and, Islamophobic, a lot of Islamophobic history with Tucker Carlson. And he goes on Tucker Carlson and basically says, anybody who's bad-mouthing the United States should shut their mouth because you don't know how good you have it, And I know he's coming from a place that's far worse than the situation we have here in the United States. But that's not to say that people shouldn't be outspoken about what's wrong with it, because we know that there is plenty things wrong with our country. And I think to say, shut your mouth, you're talking about a great country just because where you're coming from is worse, is a bit short-sighted and lacks perspective.
Yeah, it's a bit. You mentioned a bit hypocritical. The first article that you pulled up with him, that he wrote in the Atlantic, he starts off, the very first thing that he says essentially is sort of praising how his teammate was able to criticize America without going to prison. That's the very first paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
then now he's sort of criticizing those people.
And here's my thing is, my thing is, Enes Kanter is white, and I don't know if he knows how privileged that makes him in the U.S. And he is saying, yes, the U.S. is very good, a very great place to live. If you're white, yeah. If you're white, it is. Like, people like Tucker Carlson has had very documented a very cushy life. And he's right in that it is good for a lot of people, but not everyone. And you could argue, like, black people in the U.S. are oppressed to a degree that's comparable to people in Turkey. And I just think, like, it's part of this thing, like, with also, like, conservative portion of the U.S. that's just like, we're gonna ignore that. Like, 400 years of slavery, like, it happened, but, like, why would I want to, like, harp on it and feel bad about it? And it's,
yeah, I mean, he like marched for Black Lives Matter, and like he has shown recognition for that. But I think by going on Tucker Carlson, it's just like wildly hypocritical. Where like Fox News is not an advocate for people of color. That's for sure. And it seems self-serving, like he's going on this media tour of, he's all over CNN talking about advocating for vaccinations, and then he's all over Fox News talking about freedom and, like, let's not criticize this beautiful country of ours. And it just seems like a bit like he's on a media tour to, set up his book deal or whatever. Like, it doesn't seem super genuine. And, I do want to take a step back and say a lot of the criticism that he's putting out there, I think, has some serious backing.
Totally.
At the end of the day, these people, regardless of their histories, have a bunch of money and a lot of influence. And if they can do something to make a stand against something like Nike or whatever, it could have a real impact. But I think the way he's going about it is disservicing his message, and
totally
seemingly is more self-serving of a different agenda than just actively trying to make a difference.
Yeah, it does. Like, it does performative, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you do want LeBron to make a stand against Nike, don't just like drag his name in the dirt in media. Like, go to him and say, "Hey, this is a real problem. This is like how can we go about fixing this? We're in a position right now where we can do something about it." And all he's doing is posting all over social media. And you can find clips of like when they played most recently. Like,
well, they played
LeBron
like this week. Yeah.
Yeah, LeBron walks past the bench, and like Kanter is like actively avoiding making like eye contact with him. Basically, LeBron posted that he walked past him in the hallway, and the guy didn't say a word to him.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not the way to go about these things.
And and so this also kind of rubbed me the wrong way as well. He called out Jeremy Lin, and for those who don't know, Jeremy Lin is now playing in China, and in Beijing, and a lot of ex-NBA players go to China once they kind of lose their edge in the NBA. But Jeremy Lin was like a sensational story. I mean, he has multiple documentaries out, movies about him, and he's been very outspoken about like how hard it was for him to be the first um, American of Chinese or Taiwanese descent to play in the NBA. And he got like a lot of ridicule from fans, even like teammates and stuff and opponents, um, for being, Asian American. And it was a sensational story. I mean, he was an inspiration, I assume, to a lot. I mean, even to
Well,
Asian
he was
Americans.
also a victim of a lot of like racial abuse in the league.
Yeah.
Like, he talked about how that was tough for him, and so I understand that Enes Kanter has a lot to say about the government of China and the things that they do wrong, which is fair. But you put Jeremy Lin in a really painful position where he spent a lot of his career fighting to uphold his own personal identity in being Chinese American, and now you're just picking him out of a hat because he's the Chinese guy, and saying, hey, like, I know people have made fun of you, and like you've been the target of like racial insults and whatever while you're being part of the league, but you should do something about your government. And it's like it's just very targeted and I think insensitive to Jeremy Lin and his history.
Yeah, and I just think like he is the perfect Jeremy Lin is a perfect embodiment of how shitty the US can be. Very, very people who aren't like the typical white male get ridiculed and thrown with racisms and I just like that's just so ironic to me that this America that Enes Kanter is praising and singing songs for is the one that's caused a lot of heartache for Jeremy Lin, and now it's his fault for being Taiwanese. So I think his parents were from Taiwan, or he has Taiwan ancestry, and there's been lots of issues between Taiwan and China. China says Taiwan's a part of China. Taiwan is like, I don't know who you are. Go away from me. But there's a lot of weird dynamics there. But, that's not Jeremy Lin's responsibility. Jeremy Lin has had a tough time in the league, and I'm sure he just wants to play basketball and still make a living playing basketball. And Jeremy Lin is a victim, and you're almost victim blaming at that point, being like, why are you siding with your abuser? And it's like, that's what happens in abusive relationships, is it's hard to cut that tie. And I just think it's really unfair for Enes Kanter to be like, well, I did it, I got away from Turkey. It's like, not everyone gets away. Not everyone gets away, and it's sad. And you can't blame them for not.
For him to say on Fox News, hey, shut your mouth, don't say anything bad about this country, you have it good, completely invalidates all of the shit that Jeremy Lin had to deal with. Like, there are issues that we have, and we should talk about it. We can't just say, oh, we've got it pretty good because we're not, like, a total dictatorship. It's just, like, you have to have that perspective to say, yeah, okay, like, relatively to some of the other places in the world, we have it pretty good. But that's not to say that we're good.
Yeah. I just don't
understand. I mean, and it's just... You look at the kind of language that he uses, right? And I mean, he's been in the league a while now. It's not as though he had no platform before.
Exactly.
And it's all of a sudden, it's like shame on you for not speaking about this. Yeah, how disgusting. It's like, and haven't you been in the league for 10 years? I mean, so is this shame on you for spending 10 years in a league that has very close ties to China? I mean, it just doesn't... It doesn't make sense to have such a attacking and punitive mindset for this, not by somebody's support but by somebody's silence, when literally you and the entire league has been all but silent about the league's ties to China for at least a decade for Cantor's career and longer.
Yeah.
And the NBA does have, you know, some tough connections with China. We saw that with Daryl Morey when he was in Houston. You know,
Yeah.
he reached down, voiced his support for Hong Kong in that moment, and the kickback was pretty intense from the Chinese government, and I think we saw the NBA buckle a bit, and that became a whole thing with Donald Trump, who was president at the time, and calling out similarly. And that's what this reminds me of, is, you know, you had that episode with Trump in the NBA, and that's how these tweets read. That's how the, you know, activism reads. It's not. It doesn't feel genuine or in person.
It's
It
also
feels
very
attacking.
pointed. It's very pointed.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's very like pointed in a negative way. Like yeah, sometimes he'll be like, "Oh, I really want to educate, you know, LeBron," and then he'll go around and then just be like, "It's disgusting. It's horrendous," you know, and it's just like, is that how he wants to start a dialogue? Like that's
Well,
you call anyone out like that, and you're not going to get the response you want at all.
He just became a citizen, and like that ultimately like he's safe now. Like he's in the clear, so to speak. But like he would be it's hard for me to look at him and look at what he's gone through in terms of being completely disconnected from his family, where his dad has gone to prison basically because of him. He's been on these international trips where he's literally gotten like tipped off that someone's going to try to kidnap him. And he's had to flee that country to come back to the U.S. for protection. And he's saying he went through all of that, and he's saying, hey, why aren't you doing this? Like, it's like maybe Jeremy Lin doesn't want his dad to go to prison, and that's fair.
And maybe Jeremy Lin doesn't think the U.S. will fucking give a shit, you know? Enes Kanter is coming from a place of privilege that he's lucky a portion of the U.S. gives a shit about him. There's a lot of people, including a good portion of the black population, that the U.S. can give two shits about. And that's where I just think it's coming from such a place of privilege where, you know, some of these players not gonna make generational wealth and change the outcome of their life and their families' lives? And I just think like he's being very naive in that. Like if he wants to make a good dialogue, then he has to first understand where the lives and the background of these NBA players is. Because if you don't do that, then there'll be no bridge. There'll be no.
Yeah, I mean it's valid for him. I think perfectly reasonable to come to the country and want to voice about how, you know, the like you mentioned, privileges that he feels that people in this country have that they don't realize or don't acknowledge in comparison with somewhere like Turkey, which in many cases is quite dramatic of a change. But when one of the things that you are acknowledging as a strength of the country is the ability to have self-criticism and to self-correct as a result of that criticism and evolve, it doesn't make any sense to then criticize the people who are using that right and who are exercising that strength that you've identified here as a main value add.
Yeah, and to a guy in Tucker Carlson that you could likely find a soundbite from a week earlier that could be like directly in criticism of Enes Kanter, being his immigration status or you know, where he's coming from. Like it's hypocritical.
No, but you forgot Jeremy is there's different immigrants. Like there is ones that aren't rapists and coming from the South. It's you know, that's the thing. That's the kicker is is we want immigrants, but we want the good ones. You know, we don't want those shitty ones.
The ones that'll change their name to Freedom
Yeah.
and then criticize anybody who has constructive criticism about the United States.
Yeah.
That's the type of immigrant that we want.
Yeah, exactly. Because, you know, I just think
Crazy.
that's so ironic that it's, yeah, why now? Why now? Why so strong in some pretty negative ways? Like,
Yeah, if you just went about it more positively, like, hey guys, I want to make a change. Who's with me? Let's do it. As opposed to being like, you're wrong and you're disgusting and come on, you guys are awful. Like, it's just like, come on, man. Like, go about it differently.
Yeah, I mean, to reach out to Jeremy Lin publicly, say how disgusting of you to turn your back on your country and your people is
that's
just a
awful.
cool.
That's
just a
an
cool way to
awful
go.
thing to say. Like, that is so
Cool.
that's so
Yeah.
wrong. I mean, that is blaming the victim for staying cooperating with their abuser, and that is like that is the literal wrong, the way that we've gone about like domestic abuse and stuff, saying like, oh well, these women, why don't they just leave their abuser? And it's like, that's the life they know. Their livelihood is attached to this person. And in Jeremy Lin's case, I'm sure China is the one who's saying, we'll sign you and you can play basketball and have your life. And I just think it's not Jeremy Lin's fault that China is abusing people. It's China's fault. And I just think going after the victims of the abuse is just such a nasty way to try to change the world.
I mean, he made a very conscious decision here. He didn't choose to sort of stand in soapbox and preach on China or the NBA's ties to China, which, by the way, would be the actual self-aware thing to do here. You're a part of the NBA, which as a sports league has closer ties to China than almost any other entertainment organization in the world.
Yes.
You're the one sitting here collecting NBA paychecks, Cantor. Why isn't that the subject? Why aren't you going after the league that you work for on their ties to that country? And instead you single out 2-3 people who have name recognition and then, throw some insult-laden tweets at them and go on a media tour.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, Sorry, I had to throw that one in there. Just
But yeah, so I'm sure this will not be the last thing we see with Cantor.
No,
and,
I mean, if we keep on watching Fox News, I'm sure he'll pop up again.
Freedom, yeah. There's a Freedom Talk show in 5 years.
Yes, dude. Him and Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson they'll make their social media app.
Within the next
Tucker Carlson, stay tuned for the Freedom Hour.
Yes.
No, I guarantee in the next year he's going to release a book called Freedom.
Oh yeah, I would put money on that. I would take that.
Yeah.
I would for sure. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Book, tour, and then after that,
more Freedom. The Ennis Cantor Freedom story.
More likely, Ennis Cantor Freedom's book Freedom or another Tom Brady Super Bowl. What's more likely?
Oh, that's a good one. Here's what I gotta say though, honestly. I gotta be real with you, Matt, here. You don't necessarily not look like Enes Cantor Freedom.
Dude, work on your beard?
Oh.
Like I'm trying to, let's see.
Especially he's got his glasses on.
If you grew like a beard, my God, you could be Freedom.
Like your beard?
Yeah.
You could be.
You and Cantor sort of got matching beards.
We have matching. If you put my beard on your face, you're Matt Wiener Freedom.
Just like this? We just do one of these?
You're Wiener. You'll be Wiener Freedom.
Wiener free. Oh.
Dude, free the Wiener.
Just drop the mat. Drop the mat.
For my book deal is coming called Wiener Freedom.
Wiener
A
Freedom.
response. That's what it's gonna be called. Wiener Freedom, a response.
Dude.
Don't break your wiener though.
Yeah, sponsored
Bring it
by
on.
the
Exercise
Habit
your
Burger.
Exercise your freedom. Don't break your wiener.
This is our publisher,
Wow.
the Habit Burger. It'll be on all kids' menus, or the little menu they draw on.
That's an official declaration. We're sponsored by Habit Burger.
Yeah, I want to make that known. Habit Burger, thank you, Daddy Habit Burger, for.
That's a press release.
Yeah, this is breaking news. I'm checking Bleacher Report. It'll be on here soon.
Yeah, it's already been reported on Pardon My Take, so don't worry about it. It's super.
And like Barstool Sports.
Actually, I just got an email. They're watching the stream. They're very interested in putting this to ink and paper.
Oh,
yeah.
Consider it. Yeah. Consider paper ink.
I mean, consider the secret sauce, spilled onto a napkin. I think that's how they do it, like a little bit of the burger like drips onto like a napkin, and they're like, that's.
We've got a deal.
Yeah,
That's binding.
That's
binding.
It's like the sauce is
I
binding.
think we're seeing some heavily tweezed eyebrows here. Can we get a close up? Can we get a brow close up?
Dude, actually, that's so true. How do I fucking?
Great observation, Matthew.
I don't want to be.
You do know your eyebrows.
You will not preach at me and tweeze your eyebrows. You can do one or the other.
If there's something that Matt Wiener knows, it's eyebrows.
Dude,
I will
those.
not be preached at by a man who tweezes his eyebrows.
No, okay, so those. He's gotten some work done on those brows, man.
Clearly.
Because if there's anything I know, it's eyebrows, okay? Me and Matt both know how to... We have a very prominent brow.
This guy went overboard.
Yeah, he went to, I don't know. He went to...
He got the lineup and the fade and the eyebrows done and everything.
Matt,
he's exercising his freedom.
Matt, are you sure you're not Enos Freedom Cantor or Cantor Freedom, whatever?
I'm starting to. If his eyebrows weren't so tweezed, I'd be second guessing myself.
Yeah, you guys might be long lost brothers, dude. How old is he? Maybe you're twins or something. Long lost twins.
Maybe.
How old is this man?
Maybe.
He's my Turkish half.
Yeah, what are you, Matt?
They just found me on like the side of the road somewhere.
You're just like, like in
call him Wiener.
And like Austin Powers Gold member, you're just like the Dutch brother or whatever.
Oh, can you hear me? That's me. I'm the Dutch brother. That's what they call me.
The Dutch oven brother.
You've got that coffee chain,
Excuse me?
Dutch Bros. That's your coffee chain.
That's a very regional reference there.
Dude, the funny part is the game actually was kind of close at the end.
Holy!
They got
shit.
Ben ended.
Big boy Ben.
300 yards, 3 TDs, 28 for 40. That's like a good game, honestly.
Hey, Chase Claypool. He ended with 8 receptions for 93 yards. It's not.
Dalvin Cook's stat line. No, go back to Dalvin Cook's stat line right now.
Wow.
27 carries, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. Wow.
Holy
that is a dominant game.
With an arm in like a brace or something. Like his arm is not healed.
Dude, Kirk Cousins almost blew this game. He ended up with 2 I don't think he had an interception when we started the episode. So that means he threw 2 interceptions since we've been talking, and he was below 50% on completions.
If you look at the box score here, the fourth quarter, Steelers scored 21 points.
Wow.
Wow. Dude, they almost blew that game. That's classic Vikings right there. That is classic.
It was such a blowout, and I was praising you
start this show.
Yeah, it's like Vikings, they're good. They're good guys. Before we end this show, who is more likely to be on their respective team next season? Big Ben or Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins.
Oh, It's got to be Kirk. I think we've seen the last of Big Ben.
Yeah, dude is too big. He's too big.
He's just he's either too big or not big enough at this point. It's hard to tell.
Wanted to start a second career as an offensive lineman? Yeah, okay, maybe.
He's like, put me in, Tomlin.
Dude, I swear the guy can't look to the left without turning his whole body.
He has to like shift his weight, you know. It's like let me just move this cheeseburger in my stomach real quick.
He scrambled on a fourth for a first down. Oh, it was he made it. It wasn't pretty, and he timbered at the end there. He did. He just sort of went dead fish with it.
He looks thick and stiff. Unlike
is that what was that YouTube I saw this clip of him try to spin out of the pocket, and he's like trying to make a little like dink to the like running back, and he trips over himself. It's kind of like just kind of fucking throws it. I really want to find that. How do you spell his last name? Falls. Yes, the YouTube algorithm knows, dude. Let's watch this. He's like, oh, there you are. Oh, fuck. It's like, wait, I gotta keep on running on my feet.
Dude, it wasn't just this stumble. Like, if he didn't have a face mask, he would have smacked his face into the ground.
Yeah. Let's watch some Ben Roethlisberger highlights here.
All right, what is this? What is this going on here?
Oh,
he's running. Oh, that's not your guy.
Oh, my God.
And then God.
He looked like he missed him and hurt himself.
Dude, I like this.
Got kicked in the face.
I like this video. Lamar who? Ben Roethlisberger career rushing highlights. And it's only 3.5 minutes. So you know there's a lot of good content on there.
He has a lot of seasons under his belt.
That's true. How long has he been playing?
The question is, if Ben Roethlisberger stopped playing for the Steelers but didn't retire, would he get a job on another team?
Also,
backup quarterback, sure.
Look at his arm. Look at how small his left arm is compared to the rest of his body. It's like a little chicken. It's like a little chicken wing, dude. It's like a little. It's like he's obviously skipped arm day like multiple times.
One of Roethlisberger's grandparents was actually a T-Rex. That's a fun fact not everybody knows.
Also, I think it goes without saying, but it's ironic that his name has the word burger in it in his last name.
He should
I don't think that did go without saying, for the record.
We got you, Ben. Big Ben, our sponsor, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Have yourself.
Are you trying to get as big as Ben? Habit
burger.
Ironically, he should eat less burgers.
No, I'm saying I'm with Matt or whoever said it. He needs to just gain more weight and become put him on the offensive line, dude.
Honestly, he might do better than the Steelers' offensive line right now.
That is true, dude. Put him, you know what? Trade him or Big Ben, go to the Rams. You, Aaron Donald, Von Miller. I could see that being a very dynamic pass rushing duo.
Age as their left tackle now. Andrew Whitworth, I think, officially hit 40. They could use an. Oh, see, these aren't pretty.
Look at him dance in there, like.
Ooh, a little high step.
Wait, was this made in the 60s? What is this footage right here? This is. Dude, look at him. Just...
That was not any time recent. I guarantee that clip was not from the last decade.
Look at him. You know it's a good sign when Big Ben is as big as the defensive lineman chasing after him, dude.
Right.
Defensive tackle and Ben.
Look at that. Who's bigger? Literally, who is bigger?
He's bigger. He's for sure bigger.
Big Ben.
I mean, they call him big. It's like, why do they call you big, Mr. Roethlisberger?
They should start thinking about calling him Wide Ben.
Why? Showed Ben, dude.
I mean, he's got to be the girthiest quarterback of all time.
I mean, yeah, I can't think of another one, honestly. Usually they want their size to go up, to get, like, lengthy. No, and Ben, it's like...
He just needs a good squeeze.
Yeah, it's like the toothpaste, we need to squeeze him and
get left him in the microwave, like, a bit too long.
Yeah, he kind of got droopy, he kind of got soggy on the sides.
Oh, my God.
Like my burger was from The Habit. Okay.
Oh no, we don't speak about our sponsor that way.
I mean, we throw in
Habit
some...
burgers are never soggy.
No, see, Habit Burger is our boy, and we give him some digs now and then.
You can eat Habit Burger in a pool and it won't get wet. These are hydrophobic burgers.
Premium beef.
Premium beef.
Unlike Dennis Rodman's Rod.
Yeah, there needs to be okay, Habit Burger, hear me out. You have a hamburger, or you have a hot dog option called the Dennis Rod.
Man.
The Dennis Rod dog? You can't say that on air, Cole.
I didn't say it. Okay, we're gonna lose our sponsorship. Okay, we need to stop with the inappropriate. Yeah, Habit Burger, please don't cancel our. All right, let's end the show with some betting. Some just not bet. We won't bet because I can't. I'm in Washington. Daddy Washington won't let me bet, but let me look at
Daddy Washington.
Super lame, dude.
Yeah, big time lame.
Super Bowl odds. This is Odd Shark. I don't know. What do you use, Jeremy? What's for odds here? Odds checker.
Hey, Jeremy.
Vegas.
Jeremy, what odds would you give me for a Patriots Super Bowl?
Dude, Odd Sharks.
Patriots Super Bowl. That's what does this one have it at? I don't know. It's a tough question there.
So we got odds. Shark.
Oh, this is absurd. Actually, that's way too high. They have the Patriots as the second most likely to win the Super Bowl. That's wild.
Odds checker has Bucks, Chiefs, Packers, Cards, Patriots, Bills.
That's more reasonable.
Okay, honestly, this is the most reasonable I've seen so far. Honestly, this is like, I'd take these odds right here. This one.
But I want to know, Jeremy, what would you give me? I'll put some money on the Pats.
Just making the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl?
No, winning the Super Bowl.
Winning the Super Bowl? Oh.
Yeah. That's got to be real good odds. Rookie quarterback? When was the last time a rookie quarterback won the Super Bowl?
I'd give you 4-1.
Oh, fuck out of here.
Yeah.
4-1.
5-1.
Nah.
I don't have the capital to shell out really what the odds should be there,
I'll tell you what. All right. Give me 10-1, but we'll bet beers.
Okay. Deal.
Done.
Deal.
Consider paper ink.
If Patriots win the Super Bowl, I will buy you 10 beers.
No. Actually, I'm gonna change it to Habit Burgers. Okay.
Burgers. 10 Habit Burgers.
What?
Yes.
I'm stuck.
Well, you think about it. We'll be back next week with Jeremy's response.
Yeah, this will leave you on a cliffhanger. This episode was brought to you by Habit Burger.
Shout out Habit Burger.
Okay. Do you have an answer, Jeremy, or should we leave our audience hanging?
Like, what odds would you give me for a Cards Super Bowl? Yeah.
I'd give it 16%.
Oh, yeah, maybe 14.5%.
14.5%.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay. Consider paper inked once again.
Okay, yeah. So just
Yeah,
make
10-1 odds on the Patriots and 14.5% odds on the Cardinals.
So is
You
that
do the
like
math at home.
14% of like a original cheeseburger from the Habit, or what is that?
From Habit Burgers, 13.5%.
You just cut
Habit
it.
Burger.
You just cut it into a little slice of burger.
Yeah.
That's
thanks for
like
watching,
1 to
everybody.
7.
What?
14%. It's like a 1 to 7.
Sure. I'll give you 1 to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
You're
right.
crazy. You're crazy.
Done.
I'm sorry, Cards. I really wish it were so, but Daddy Habit Burger is whispering in my ear, telling me, nope, it's not gonna happen. And we all know that the Habit Burger is really in control of the NFL. Okay, they won't let
He's pulling the string.
And China.
Big Burger won't let that happen.
Big Habit.
The Big Burger Lobby. They
Bur-
won't let it
They
happen.
won't. All right, that'll wrap up our show. We were so close to only having an hour-long show, but we went an hour and 20 minutes. I'm sorry.
That's not that.
Okay.
But honestly, the bonus content was watching Big Ben Roethlisberger fall on his face, and try to run with the ball. I think our viewers will appreciate us taking the time.
I did.
That'll wrap up our show. Live on Twitch. Make sure if you missed any of it or any past episodes, make sure to catch us on YouTube. And we be tweeting all day long, mostly about the Lakers though. So if you don't like the Lakers, I'm sorry. But yes, catch us on all the medias that are social and like us and subscribe to our burger content.
Burgers.
Yeah.
Coming back to you on Tuesday.
On Tuesday. We're coming back to you on Tuesday. All right, everybody.
Back at it again.
Later.